Welcome back to Normal Baseball's Top 10 lists for 2023. Today, we have our top 10 starting pitchers. Let's get into it. What's going on? Welcome back to another Normal Baseball Top 10 list for 2023.
There we go.
Today we have starting pitchers. I'm Alex Normal Dog. That's Lewis. And we are just going to be going over our top 10 starting pitchers for 2023. Arguably, for me, this was one of the hardest lists we've done so far. We've done every position leading up to this point. Aside from both starters and relievers. So we are doing starting pitchers right now. I'm very excited. This is based on the last couple seasons and how we think they're going to perform this season. Just a lot taken into account. And top 10 starting pitchers.
Yeah, top 10 starting pitchers. No other way to put it. This, like Alex mentioned, was and probably is going to be the most controversial and was definitely the hardest list for both him and I to come up with. We each have our own top 10 lists that we are going to get into very, very shortly. Just know that these are our lists personally. These are not who you might think or who you might have. So I'm ready whenever you are.
So I'm excited. I'm excited to do this one because a lot of stuff can be switched around. Like you said, the people we have might not be the people you might have on this list. But there's a lot of really good options. We'll get right into it. Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
How about you kick us off?
Okay, I'll kick us off here. So, my 10th best pitcher in baseball heading into the 2023 MLB season is Aaron Nola of the Philadelphia Phillies. Last season, yes, he was 11-3, but pitcher, can we agree just before we start this list? The records do not matter.
Yes.
He had a 3.25 ERA last season, 205 innings pitched in 32 starts. He just had some nasty stuff. His whip was at .961, and his SIERA, which is a stat that is arguably one of the best pitching stats. It takes into account most pitching stats and just kind of rates pitchers based on that, was 2.80, which is third best in baseball. Really underrated last season. He was striking out a lot of guys. He had 235 strikeouts last season. He led the league in walks per 9 at 1.3. He barely walked any batters. In fact, this is kind of rattling. In 205 innings pitched, he walked 29 batters in 32 starts. Yeah. So he was averaging under one batter walked per start. That is incredible. He also led the league in strikeouts per walk with 8.1 strikeouts per walk. He came fourth in Cy Young voting, and I think he had a really good year this year, and he will continue to get better next year, and he'll have a great 2023 season.
Yeah, how many innings did he pitch?
205.
205
I said
innings.
That. Did mention that.
Yeah, Aaron Nola is a great pitcher, no denying it. Definitely was a key piece in that Phillies team that did get hot in the postseason. I like that at number 10. That's a very good one.
Did you have Aaron Nola on your list?
I did not. He would have been number 11.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that are like that. They could have been either just made it, just missed it. It's a lot of good options. We should have probably done top 15, top 20, but top 10 just makes it more fun, doesn't it?
Oh, certainly.
So who do you have at your number 10 then?
So at my number 10, I have Dr. Sticks. I have Tristan McKenzie. He is really, really good. There's no other way for me to put it. Let me go ahead and read off some of his numbers
real
here.
in depth there.
So he had a 2.96 ERA last season over the course of 191 1/3 innings pitched. He had 190 strikeouts with an ERA plus of 129, a FIP of 3.59. Just all in all, a very, very solid pitcher, especially when you look at his metric stuff. If you go to his Baseball Savant page, it looks really good. And if you get a little bit more in depth, when he is pitching ahead, when he basically has anything that is not a neutral count, well, not anything but a neutral count, whenever he has more strikes than the batter has balls, the opponent's batting average drops below a 163 batting average, which is crazy. I am projecting him, and I really hope that this comes true and then some. I want him to have over 200 strikeouts this season. I want him to be that guy that we know him to be, and I'm really looking forward to watching him pitch.
That's fair. Tristan McKenzie did just barely miss my list. I wouldn't say just barely. I think I would put him in a top 20. I don't think I would have him in my top 10 because I don't. But he is a very good pitcher. I agree with everything you said. I'm excited to watch him this year. He's playing for that Rolex once again.
Yep.
And I'm excited because he's a guy who has progressively gotten better the longer he's been in the league.
For sure.
He'll just continue to improve the longer he stays in the league. So I do like that pick.
Yes.
So now should we move on to our number 9? So far we had different number 10s, and let's see if we have different number 9s, because I have a feeling that a lot of our list might be different this time, which is something that was not too normal in the other positions. There were a lot of guys that this guy's going to be there. But there's a lot of differentiation here. Yeah. So my number 9 best pitcher for starting pitcher for the 2023 season from the Arizona Diamondbacks, I have Zach Gallen.
That's also who I have in my number 9.
Really? So I just made that whole speech about how we're going to have these different lists and we have the same number 9. Zach Gallen last season, a 2.54 ERA in 31 games started. He struck out 192 batters in 184 innings. He led baseball in WHIP with a 9.13 WHIP, a .913 WHIP. And he also led baseball in hits per nine with a 5.9 hits per nine. He was just amazing. He seems to have gotten a lot better over the course of the last few years. He's increasingly pitched in more games, and I think now we are starting to see how much of an elite pitcher he is, and I'm kind of honestly pretty glad that we're getting to see this, because I think a lot of people haven't noticed it as much as they should, and I think this upcoming season people will notice it a lot. So I'm very excited. Batters hit 185 against him all season. So if that doesn't say something, I don't really know what does.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Zach Gallen, my number 9 as well. Since the 2019 season, he's really been ramping up to pitch more and more innings, of course, hindered a little bit by the 2020 season. However, I think that we're going to see him pitch very easily over 200 innings this year, especially with how good he is now. I feel as if, there should be a lot more respect put on him, and he should definitely be starting more games for the Diamondbacks. And let's not forget that Zach Gallen, if you look into a little bit more, or if you've ever watched him, he shares 3 put-away pitches, which are basically pitches that he throws more during 2 strike counts, which I think is very interesting. And he has 3 of them. Usually you see guys like Verlander and Scherzer lean on 1 or 2. It's not often that you see pitchers lean on 3 put-away pitches at such a high level. It was basically split down 3 ways. His fastball, his curveball, and his changeup all were very, very good put-away pitches, especially with 2 strikes in the count last season.
There you go. Zach Gallen.
Yeah.
Good for the Good for the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, former boy down south.
Round of applause for Zach Gallen, everybody. Do we want to get to our number 8s?
Of course.
I think that's only fair. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll take care of it. At my number 8, which, reminder, these lists are difficult to make, very volatile, could move a lot. My number 8 is Max Scherzer.
Versatile. My number 8 was also Max Scherzer.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, wow. It's kind of interesting. Go on.
Yeah, so Max Scherzer comes in at my number 8. He hasn't had over a 3 ERA since 2014, if you don't count the 2020 season, in which there were obviously less games. He's been absolutely amazing. He has an 83% whiff rate on all of his pitches, which is that is an insane amount of swing and miss. Genuinely, I did not think that number was true. I had to really read into that, and refreshed the page a couple of times on Baseball Savant. It fits really well in the NL East, as we saw this past season, except for one game against the Braves. But all in all...
And one game against the Padres.
But it just fits really well with what the Mets are trying to do. And I think that we're just going to see another very, very good outing from Max Scherzer this year. And one final thing, he's sort of... I think that we can say that he is part of one of the best 1-2 punches we have in baseball right now.
Yeah. Verlander Scherzer. Yeah, fair. Scherzer was phenomenal last season. Yes, he was injured, which is really the first time in his career he's suffered a significant injury. Made him miss a few starts. He only pitched in 23 games. But, like you said, he had a 2.29 ERA in those 23 games. Just absolutely lights out. If you take away those outings against the Padres and Braves, no one could hit him. He can definitely be in a top 3 on anyone's list. I put him a little lower just because of just the uncertainty almost. I think he will stay good. He's 38. I just don't know. It depends. So I think he will get a little worse. I think he will have a couple more bad outings. I think while he is a pitch clock wizard, I think there will be times where it does kind of hurt him a little bit, where he does want to slow down because, yes, he's locked in and he's this guy, but he's locked in. He wants to get in a rhythm. Sometimes you need a second.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I like Max Scherzer. I love him. And I think he will perform amazing this season. I hope he pitches in 30 games. I hope he starts 30 games this season at least. Just try not to get injured.
Yes,
so,
I agree. Yeah. Let's go Max Scherzer.
Let's go Max Scherzer.
Mad Max.
So we've had the same 9 and 8.
Yes.
So
will we have the same 7?
Will we have the same 7? I don't think so. I think you might have higher on your list.
All right. So then give us your number 7.
My number 7, best pitcher in baseball right now, is Shohei Ohtani. Listen, I know you're gonna have him towards your top. I have him lower simply based on the fact that we haven't seen him do it for more than once, like multiple seasons. We haven't seen him necessarily dominate on the pitching side of the ball. Last season, yes, there's no debate that he was dominant on the other side of the ball, the pitching side of the ball. Last season he pitched 28 games, so started 28 games, pitched 166 innings, had a 2.33 ERA while also doing what he did with the bat. Yes, he was lights out, but I would like to see him do it for another season. I know the season before he had a 3.18 ERA in 23 starts, but let's just see him do it again, and he is definitely a valid person to put in your top 3, dare I say. But I had him a little lower just because I want to see him replicate first.
Okay. I had him at my number 2.
You had him at your number 2?
I did.
Oh my God.
I did.
2?
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. I mean, I can break it down a little bit for you. He is the guy. There's no other way to put it. I don't know any other pitcher in baseball right now, besides maybe a complete breakout season from Brett Phillips, that could hit 30 home runs.
But that's not based on the pitcher list.
I know. I'm just giving some background to it. Okay. Like Alex mentioned, he did have a 2.33 ERA last season. All of his pitches look dominant. He's starting to develop a cutter as well, which, holy shit, not a cutter. Oh my God, now I need to go check his Savant page, because towards the end of last season, he was trying to develop a couple of other pitches that, honestly, the numbers look
he has that splitter.
There. Yeah, he has that splitter, which is obviously disgusting. There's no other way to put it. He just, all around, looks like an amazing pitcher, and I think that, again, with the same reasoning as to with putting him in my DH number 2, is simply, this is his time to shine. This is his moment. It's this season for him. It's going to be, I think, the season where he puts it together to dominate mostly on the mound and to dominate mostly in the box.
Yeah,
I just think that Shohei Ohtani is going to be the best single-handed player in baseball this season.
Okay, because you just said dominate. It's his season to dominate mostly on the mound and mostly in the box.
Yeah.
Which one is he going to be better at?
I'm saying in the terms of like where he's going to be in our rankings. Like he's going to be towards the top on both ends of the ball. I just think that's how good he is.
Sinker was the pitch he was working on a lot of last season, I believe, because he saw Clay Holmes throw an 101 mile an hour sinker at him, and he just thought to himself, that's kind of crazy. I want to learn how to do that, and that's exactly what he did. He's learning how to do that. I think he is a amazing pitcher. I think he showed that last season, and yes, I know having him this low seems like not good, and I know it's very...
come on. Stand behind your list.
I am. I know it's very arguable to have him higher up, but I don't have him higher up because I want to see him do it again.
All right.
I don't know what you're talking about not standing behind. It's not like I'm saying I'm going to move him up. I'm saying I can understand how you have him higher, but that's just not where I have him.
All right. That works. So Shohei Ohtani was at your number 7.
Yeah, I think you were trying to provoke me to talk bad about him. I don't want to talk bad about him. He's a really good pitcher still. I still have him in my top 10. I still think I have him at 7, yes, but that's okay, 5 spots behind you. I'm not going to talk bad about him. He was a good pitcher last year. He was amazing. Should have been top 3 in Cy Young. But for next season, I'd rather see him be able to replicate it first.
Okay. All right. So I guess it's my turn to do my number 7.
Yeah. Who was your 8? Was Scherzer, right?
Scherzer, yep.
Yeah. Do your number 7 then.
My number 7, I had Carlos Rodon of the New York Yankees. Just came out a couple of days ago that he is going to be starting the season on the injured list. However, I do not think that's going to affect how good of a pitcher he will be when he comes back. Last season with the Giants, he led the league in FIP at a 2.25. He had an ERA plus of 140 with an ERA of 2.88 over the course of 178 innings. Just really solid pitcher. Led the league in strikeouts per 9. Just amazing. Looking forward to seeing his pitch control, which he really improved on the last 2 seasons, which were his all-star seasons. I'm hoping that he continues to dominate with placing his pitches exactly where he wants them to be. And that's what makes him so good.
Me too. I hope he dominates. I had him at number 4 on my list.
Okay.
I had him a little higher up. I think in terms of lefties, he's the best left-handed pitcher in the game. I feel like that's a fair assessment to make, no?
Totally.
So I had him a little higher. I think he'll continue to dominate this season. He throws a lot of strikeouts. He does his job on the mound there, and he does it fantastically. Yes, you said he is starting on the injured list, but I think he'll come back fairly quickly from it, and he'll make his presence felt immediately.
Oh, yeah.
Rodon is just one of those guys that I'm really high on, and I love him. So Carlos Rodon. Although I will say, he also led the league in strikeouts per 9 last season. I don't know. Just something about him. He plays with energy. He plays with that charisma. He'll as you like to say, he'll scream at you on the mound.
He will.
He'll show his emotions. I love the guy. And he only gave up 12 home runs all season. So that's pretty good for a pitcher who threw 31 starts and 178 innings. So Carlos Rodon is at my number 4 spot.
All right, and my number 7. So then do you want to give us your number 6?
Sure. My number 6, in a pick that might be controversial for a couple different reasons, I have Garrett Cole of the New York Yankees.
I have him at my 5.
Yeah, I would love to put him higher because his expected numbers were a lot better last season. He did have a 3.5 ERA, but I feel like that's very weighted down by his bad performances. Like when he had bad performances, he had bad performances. And yes, you can make the argument that if he is the 6th best pitcher in baseball, he shouldn't be having those bad performances. But I still think his stuff is amazing. His fastball is dominant. Just all around a dominant pitcher. I think not having him in the top 10 is a little much, and I think he will have a great bounce back year. and I think he'll shine. He'll shine a lot more this season. He's ready. He's locked in. He's happy to be a diamond in MLB The Show. He very much enjoyed that plaque. I don't know if you saw that video.
No, I did.
Yeah, but Garrett Cole, love the guy. 11.5 Ks per 9. Incredible.
Yep.
Strikes out a lot of guys as well, on that note, obviously. He struck out 257 batters last season, which led baseball. Incredible. This is a guy who can strike out 300 in a season. He has in the past. So we'll see if he can this season. The only minus of Garrett Cole is the home run ball. He gave up 33 home runs last season, which was the most in baseball. It seems like he just gives up home run after home run after home run. And as someone who watched pretty much every Garrett Cole start last season, I can confirm it just felt like at the worst times he was about to give up a home run. You didn't really, if there was a big hit, it was going out. So I would like for him to work on limiting the home run ball this upcoming season. And yeah, but I still think he's the sixth best pitcher in baseball.
Yeah, and for all the same reasons, I put him at my number 5. I did note down that as long as he stays away from those couple of bad innings, which can lead to bad starts, then we're talking about a guy who can definitely finish with hopefully close to 300 strikeouts, and hopefully, and I say this truly, could finish within the top 5 of bare minimum for Cy Young.
Oh, yeah.
Garrett Cole is definitely that type of pitcher that has the skill and capability to get up there and get some first place votes bare minimum and hopefully win it. As with all these other pitchers, I hope they all do win it.
Yeah, he should have won it in 2019, so he can win it.
2021?
He can win it. He can win it in any year, and I think he'll be up there this upcoming season.
For sure.
His expected FIP was a 2.77, but his actual FIP was a 3.47. So take that as you will. Pretty cool. Just to look at the expected numbers and kind of see how they differentiate from the actual numbers. So, yeah, that's Garrett Cole. So who was at your number 6 in that case?
My number 6 was Justin Verlander of the New York Mets. I mean, he's coming off of a unanimous Cy Young Award win. Crazy. Was just one of the most dominant pitchers. He had an ERA plus of 2.20, which led all of baseball. He had a whip of .829, looked really, really good, and his hits per 9 was American League best at 6. Just absolutely dominant, 1.75 ERA, massive piece of the Astros postseason and World Series run throughout even the regular season. Looked great, and now he's going to be with the New York Mets and Matt Scherzer once again, like they were in Detroit all those years ago. I'm looking forward to seeing how well he does.
Yeah, I had Verlander at my 5, so we had Cole and Verlander switched. It's hard to argue with the unanimous Cy Young season.
Hard to.
And I don't really think you can argue with the unanimous Cy Young season. Not to mention, he also had a 1.75 ERA, which is just incredible. Yes. He led the league in so many different things. ERA, whip with an 8.29 whip, hits per 9 with 6, and an ERA plus with 2.20. The guy did it all, and after 2 seasons of not pitching, a lot of people had their questions, a lot of people had their doubts on what he can do, and he came out and proved everyone wrong. He proved that he still got it even at age 39, and he got a contract from the Mets, and he'll be, like you said, in the same rotation as Scherzer, which is going to be a scary rotation, and I think he's still going to be good. A lot of people think, oh yeah, he's going to the Mets. They're going to be the Mets, and he's just going to be bad out of nowhere. No. You don't go from unanimous Cy Young to not good. So he will continue to be dominant all of next season. There's no doubt in my mind.
I certainly agree. So I have my 4, 3, and 1 left. I believe that you still are 1 behind, or are we at the same spot?
No, I'm all caught up. I have my 3, 2, and 1.
Who was your 4 then?
My 4 was Rodon.
Okay, so then I'll do my number 4.
Yeah, you have 4, 3, 1. I have 1, 2, 3. So we both have 3 left, but you're lower, so 4.
All right, so I'll get my 4 out of the way. My number 4 for my top 10 starting pitchers going into the 2023 season, Christian Javier of the Houston Astros. I mean, casual 94th percentile in strikeout percentage, when easily if he focused more on just having a better put-away pitch and maybe stop throwing his cutter, then we're talking about a guy who could lead the league in strikeouts this upcoming season. He's just, all in all, one of the greatest pitchers. I want to see him add a little bit more spin and velocity to his changeup, because then that will truly make it an unhittable pitch, which already batters struggle against it, batting well under 200. So let's just hope to see a great season at Christian Javier. And in his first full season last year, he looked very unhittable, having a 2.54 ERA over the course of 148 and two-thirds innings with an ERA plus of 152. Could we see those numbers improve now that he has a full season under his belt? I'm saying yes, and I'm saying that we're going to see it improve in a very dominant way.
I mean, that's fair. I did not have Christian Javier on my list. Unfortunately, I do agree he was a very, very good pitcher last season. He kind of went out and showed what he's got. He was a part of 2 combined no-hitters. One in
the World Series.
One in the World Series. He kind of just did his thing all year. And he had dominant stuff. He showed dominant stuff. What kept him off my list for me was, again, I want to see him do it again. I want to see him have another dominant season when he is starting all year. Let the man start all year. He did have a couple relief performances throughout last year. I want to see him do it all year, and I want to see him do it dominant, and then I'll put him higher on my list. Just because a lot of the guys on my list are more proven guys in the league. I know there are some that aren't, but most of my guys are. So that's kind of how I looked at it. Okay. But Christian Javier, did not make my list personally.
All right, so then, Christian Javier, the Houston Astros.
he was your 4.
He was my number 4.
So who is your number 3?
How about you give us your number 3?
All right, my number 3 best pitcher in baseball for this season is Sandy Alcantara from the boys down south, the Miami Marlins. Sandy Alcantara, unanimous Cy Young. It's hard to argue. The man pitched so many innings. I'm surprised his arm didn't fall off. He was the bright spot in a not-so-bright Marlins organization last year. He just kind of did it all for them, and I love Sandy Alcantara. You got to ride with the boys down south. Alcantara, however you want to say it. He had an 8 WAR, which is incredible as a pitcher. Like I said, he threw a lot of innings. He led the league in innings pitched with 228 and two-thirds. Led the league in batters faced, obviously. He had 6 complete games and 1 complete game shutout. He just shut down batters all season. He had 207 strikeouts, an ERA of 2.28. You don't win unanimous Cy Young for no reason, and that's why I have him at my number 3.
Well, South Beach Sandy was in my number 1 spot.
Okay.
All right. So, obviously, for all the same reasons, he shut down some of the best offensive performers in baseball, night in and night out. 6 complete games, 1 shutout. Dude was an absolute workhorse to finish with a 2.28 ERA and a 178 ERA plus. I genuinely think that that's not even the best version of Sandy Alcantara that we've seen yet.
Respectable.
And I really hope to see him outdo his 2022 season here in the 2023 season.
That's respectable. I can certainly see you putting him 1. You don't just win unanimous. I said the same thing with Verlander. You don't just win a unanimous Cy Young and then fall off. I think he'll continue to get better. He will prove himself. Just the 2 guys ahead of him for me, I have my reasoning. That was my thoughts, and I do love Sandy, don't get me wrong. So, Sandy Alcantara.
So, I just have my 3 left. What do you have?
I have my 1 and my 2. So why don't you say your 3?
All right,
and if one of them will be my 1 or 2, I would assume.
All right. For my number 3 pitcher in baseball going into the 2023 season, I have Corbin Burnes of the Milwaukee Brewers. Corbin Burnes last season, obviously coming off of a Cy Young, did not look like the Corbin Burnes that won a Cy Young. However, his numbers were still great. He finished with an under 3 ERA for the 3rd season in a row with a 2.94. He started 33 games over the course of 202 innings, where he led the National League in strikeouts at 243. I did note down that he pitched 40 more innings than his Cy Young season, and he just about 40 more innings, and across 5 more games, And I believe that the reason why Corbin Burnes did not look as completely dominant in 2022 as compared to 2021, which is, I believe, where he's going to find the middle ground now here in 2023, is he pitched more for power pitches and for strikeouts, which obviously if you want to strike guys out, you need to throw pitches in the zone. And these are MLB level players. They don't miss that many pitches in the zone. So a lot more contact came out of him. His home run per 9 went up to a 1 full compared to a 0.4 last season. And his strikeouts per 9 went down from 12.6 to 10.8 last season. So just to show you that, not Sandy, Corbin Burnes was putting more pitches in the zone this last season, and I think now he has found a good middle ground that we will see him thrive once again.
Yes and no, I agree. I had Corbin Burnes at my number 1 spot. I truly do think he is currently the best pitcher in baseball. That cutter that he's made famous is absolutely unhittable.
Yep.
He doesn't throw a fastball. He does not. He threw his four-seam fastball 16 times last season, out of the total lot more than 16 pitches. The cutter is his main pitch. It's the pitch that he made famous. That thing has so much run. It is just ridiculous. I love that cutter. Batters hit 213 against it. I think he'll continue to use that to his advantage this season, and I think he'll be even more unhittable. Not to mention, I also think his curveball is amazing. Just all his pitches are crazy. His off speeds, his slider is also up there with some of the best. Corbin Burnes all around. Yes, he did go down in a lot of stats this last season, but I think he'll get back there this upcoming season, mostly because also he's not happy with the Brewers. He has been very vocal about how in arbitration they just hate their players when they go into arbitration.
They essentially said to him in the arbitration hearing that he's not worth an extra, I think it was $700,000, which you're talking about an MLB team that basically said they would rather, instead of giving Corbin Burnes what he's worth, they would rather pay a league minimum to some guy who might not even touch the majors.
Yeah.
Which is just absolutely absurd. I mean, what are we doing, Milwaukee Brewers? You guys got to be better. Because Corbin Burnes, he's only, I think, 2 years away from free agency. And the Brewers are not a hot free agent destination. You know, it's more on the coast, so we'll see what goes on there. Could he pitch the best season of his career and get traded right before the trade deadline? Maybe. It depends on what teams are willing to give up for arguably one of the best pitchers in the trade market of all time.
Yeah, the trade thing, he's not a free agent till 2025. So
2 more years.
2 more years. So if they trade him this season, they're going to get something really good back in return for him. I just think all in all, Corbin Burnes is an absolute dog. He's going to get his money. He's going to be a amazing pitcher this season. He's going to be pitching with that kind of chip on his shoulder of, hey, Brewers, watch me. I'm pitching like this. I'm going to be a Cy Young candidate this season. Dare I say win the Cy Young this season again. You should definitely think that I'm worth more than you think I am. So Corbin Burnes came in at my number 1, which I believe just leaves my number 2.
That does.
So I'm ending with my number 2 because we both said our number 1s and already.
We already have.
My number 2, who didn't even pop your list, that means, gonna be a little controversial because of previous years. I have Jacob deGrom at my number 2 spot. It was hard to deny for me his numbers when he's healthy. Yeah. And I know that's been a thing in the past 3 years, or 2 years really, is can the guy stay healthy? He throws 100+ miles an hour every single pitch, every single fastball. And, like, of course, when you do that, your arm is going to blow out sometimes, and you are going to not be healthy. I think he'll be fine this season. It's hard to deny. I don't think there's much explanation needed with a 2 times back-to-back Cy Young winner, a guy who can easily pitch close to a 1.5 or dare I say a 1 ERA during the season. He just does not give up runs. He strikes out an incredible amount of guys. In 11 starts last season, he struck out 102 batters, which is 14.3 strikeouts per 9. just absolutely incredible. So I think Jacob deGrom still has it in him. I think he'll stay healthy this season, his first year in Texas, and I have him as my second best pitcher in baseball.
Yeah, I like it. I'm looking forward to watching Jacob deGrom pitch. Completely agree with everything that you said. However, the uncertainty of how many games he will pitch is the thing that kept him off the list for me. But if I revisit this list at the end of the year, I would almost be willing to guarantee you that he would make my top 5.
Which is fair, because I said when I was making this list, I was like, listen, if someone does, if you don't have him on your list at all, I completely understand because of that uncertainty.
Yep.
I am just high on the fact that I think he'll be able to stay healthy. I think maybe he's learned his lesson by now. And if not, then that's horrible. Because when he's on that mound, he is dominant.
He's the best pitcher in baseball when he's fully healthy.
When fully healthy, by far. So that's our list.
That's the list.
We're just going to go over them one more time, then we'll be done with it. We thank you guys for listening. We appreciate you if you're watching this still or listening. And Lewis, do you want to give us your list one more time?
Yes, of course. So my list is, at number 10, we have Tristan McKenzie. 9, Zach Gallen. 8, Max Scherzer. 7, Carlos Rodon. 6, Justin Verlander. 5, Garrett Cole. 4, Christian Javier. 3, Corbin Burns. 2, Shohei Ohtani. 1, South Beach Sandy Alcantara.
All right. And then at my number 10, I had Austin, my bad. Let me restart. Let me try that again. Not Austin Nola. That is a catcher on the Padres.
From the top.
At my number 10, no, I'm done. That's it.
At his number 10, yes.
At my number 10, I had Aaron Nola. At my number 9, I had Zach Gallen. At my number 8, I had Max Scherzer. At my number 7, I had Shohei Ohtani. At my number 6, I had Garrett Cole. At my number 5, I had Justin Verlander. At my number 4, I had Carlos Rodon. At my number 3, I had South Beach Sandy. At my number 2, I had Jacob deGrom. And at number 1, I had Corbin Burns.
Yep.
So that's my list. You gave your list. We thank you guys for watching, listening, viewing, subscribing. Let us know who your top 10 pitchers for this season are. Let us know in the comments, and let us know what you agreed with, disagreed with. We appreciate your support, and we will see you guys in the last one, which is relief pitchers. Peace.